doing something with the music is why I have a purpose in doing it. It's more than just a hobby. Who inspired me the most would be my oldest brother Josh, but also Dave Grohl, just sitting right there, and right there. So he, basically my brother gave me one of their albums when I was 6 years old, and he taught me, you never skip a song, you listen to the album front to back. So that's how I listen to all my music. I don't own songs, I own albums. So as I have my rack of hundreds of albums. And the riffs and how Dave Grohl plays the guitar, I was like, holy crap, dude, this is so cool. I want to be like him in that way. I want to write music like this. And I tried to learn the music, and every time I tried, I couldn't get to sound like that. So that's why I started writing my own music, because playing other people's music, I felt like I was always butchering it because it's like their craft. So I was like, well, and I was able to push myself more with doing my own music. My high school teacher, Russ, he believed in me more than I believed in myself. And then he found somebody else in the classroom who could help further what I was doing, actually make it come to life. So between him believing in me and hooking me up with the right people to get me started, if he didn't do that, I would have never made music, ever. And I don't know where I would be today if he didn't do that. All I needed to start was someone to believe in me, and I was also scared. I didn't know how the process worked on making music or any of that. So I just needed someone who knew about all that stuff to get me the connections to start. I go to the studio all the time. For instance, I went Thursday from after work till 7 a.m. just yesterday to go all through the night to do it. So it's just that one of those things of like just putting it on paper, putting it on like actually recording it and doing it. My producer's a really good friend of mine, like because of how much I'm there. We tell stories and it's like a lot of fun, and then we get into it, and even then we're kind of bantering back and forth, like roasting each other as we do it. And it's just so much fun. I always look forward to going. So there's never been a time I don't want to go. So I go after work, and then as long as I don't have work the next day, we'll go all through the night. Like all through the night, like another 10 hours or more, just depends. So it is a bummer coming home. Driving home after being up for over 24 hours, that kind of sucks. I go as long as I possibly can. If I've worked the next day, I go till midnight, and then I'll get like 5 hours of sleep. I would say that I don't have to think about it. I used to. When I first started, it was like pulling teeth for me to want to be there, because it was just like I had other places to be, I had other things to do, and I wasn't as invested as I am now. Now it's like I have a very good routine of what I do every day, and especially because we've planned it a week ahead, my mind's already there that I'm gonna be there, and I don't have to second guess it. So when it was a thing where, hey, come in today, that is a little hard, because it's like I already made other plans today, and now I have to drop those plans to go do this. But having that expectation makes it very easy just to show up. So I guess being in the studio, having that push to be the best I can be helps motivate me to really perform to the best of my abilities. When I started, it was someone believing me to do it, but to keep going was actually people telling me I couldn't do it. So that was the driving factor, because I wanted to prove those people wrong. So that's actually how I made my progression as I went on. Was the sole purpose was, it stemmed from just me wanting to prove them wrong, and then I got to the point where I wanted to do it for myself. But if they didn't do that, I don't think I would have pushed as hard. So I needed people to tell me, you suck, what you're doing doesn't work, and my producer was one of those people too. It doesn't happen very often anymore, now that my producers kind of taught me the things I need to know. At first, yeah, it was all the time. I mean, it was like pulling teeth to even get a song to sound okay. It was just, I had a very crazy way of playing before, and he was trying to tone me down to kind of follow the rules more and stuff like that. So every so often I'll have like a writer's block. There has been times, ever so often I'll be there for like 4 hours, and I get like just like a part done, just like a measure. It just speaks to me in a way nothing else does. Like, I feel like it's been, like a lot of these songs I'll listen to, I feel like it was written for me in a way. It's like I just completely put myself into that song and that frame of mind and those emotions. It's something I've never been able to really truly explain, because like I listened to it all when I was a kid until it progressed from, you know, rock bands like Foo Fighters and the Killers, and then it progressed into what it ended up being with metal. I've seen it for myself, and there was actually a friend I challenged to do this too, is that stop playing other people's music and try to make something for yourself. You're kind of looking at it through another perspective when you're trying to learn other people's music. You're pretty much recreating something that somebody's already made. Whereas if you make it yourself, you're limited to your mind. Whatever you're able to come up with is whatever you're able to do. That's the biggest thing of what turned me into what I am today, is when I kept trying to learn other people's music, and it would frustrate me because, for one, it's like I would play the exact notes and it wouldn't sound like that for some reason. It didn't sound exactly how they played it, but whatever it is, it's like I couldn't figure it out and it pissed me off. And I'm like, whatever, dude, I want to push myself playing these guys. This is a hard song, but I feel like I'd go further if I were to write it myself. And I started writing ridiculous things, because it was like I basically would do something that I couldn't even think it was possible, but I'd play it slowly until I started building up to it. That's the biggest piece of advice I can give to someone who's starting out, is try to see what you can do first. Like, it is good to learn other people's music, learn scales, learn chords, to understand what sounds good. But a lot of the times I've done some unconventional things that sound awesome, but they're not proper. They're super not proper, right? But they sound cool. That's how I gauge it. I'm like, well, if it sounds cool and it works, then why not?